Welcome to Hawthorne Hill Farm and Homestead. I'm Marilyn Cameron, and with the help of my husband Paul, we operate this lovely 46-acre farm property in the Annapolis Valley of Nova Scotia. Our children are grown and don't live with us anymore, but we still love this lifestyle and want to continue feeding ourselves. On our farm, we grow a wide array of market garden vegetables, berries, and orchard fruits, and garlic. Plus, we raise free-range hens for eggs, lots of meat birds in the summer. We have a flock of Shetland sheep for wool, and our newest addition to the farm is our family milk cow. Each week, we will post an episode that starts us off in the early spring and will continue until the late fall. We will show you all the things that we do on our farm to get ready for the growing season, how we care for our crops, how we raise our animals, how we make nutritional meals, bake bread, make cheese, pasta, preserves, and so much more. We hope that you will join us and will be inspired to try some new things that will help you become more self-sustaining and to fill your own larder. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go over to potatoes. So the next couple of hours, I'll be up here digging corn stalks out. I've got 4 rows done, and 1 row is almost done. And chickens. I dug these out yesterday with a shovel, hoping that they would be all dry and I could just do this morning, but unfortunately the clumps froze solid, and they're just defrosted now, and it's the afternoon. So it was a very cold night last night. Well, let's see if we can make short work. I like to keep as much of my soil as possible. There's a lot of compost and good stuff in here over the years, so it's worth saving. Hey chicken, I'm sure there's a few worms here and there. There. This won't take long to get this row done, then we'll be half done. Well, we've got another couple of rows done. So I'm going to pick up these roots. Take a little break off my knees. And we've got 3 rows to go. I'm going up to work on potatoes. We've got a bucket of manure up here. I'm going to start spreading it on those rows. So potatoes don't require a ton of fertility, but they really need acid soil, and they like to have some bone meal too in the soil. But here we got all those rows all cleaned out yesterday. So there's 10 rows, and up on top where it's covered with black plastic, that's coming off, and we're going to do up there. But what I'll do today is we'll get started on getting this all fertilized, and then we'll tackle the upper part there. Here's the manure. So we're just going to put that in wheelbarrows and buckets and sprinkle it on. I'll show you how I do that. Load up your buckets with manure. hoe it. That's done. All right, I'll be back with the wheel hoe and we'll see if that goes through the soil nice, makes a nice trough. Then we'll apply the other fertilizers. Okay, I'm back. I just went over and got this old wheel plow or wheel hoe. It's quite elderly. It's from Paul's family. And what I use this occasionally to make straight lines in the garden and to make a furrow for planting potatoes. So I've done some of the rows, but I just wanted to show you how I do one. So I'm going to start right at the end, and you're going to dig the plow that's right on the end here, this thing, right into the soil. And I'm going to be pushing down and pushing forward at the same time. Okay, and I'm going to run up the row. It's mixing the manure that we just put on. And I'm trying to make a straight line, and it really doesn't matter. Okay, and I'll turn around and I'll come back down. Yeah. Okay, now sit this over here. There's 3 things I'm adding to this. The first is bone meal, and it's going to go in. This is bone meal. Okay, and it's going to go in fairly thick, and it's really good to prevent scab, and root vegetables really like a lot of it. So I'm being fairly generous. And the beauty of making the trough is that the bone meal can go right exactly where it's needed instead of being dispersed over the row. And when I plant the potatoes and they get pushed down into the soil, it'll take some of this bone meal with it. Everything likes a little bit of potash, and you can go fairly sparingly with it. And the last but not least is the sulfur. The sulfur can come in powder or pellets. I like the pellets the best. They break down pretty quick. It's really hard to find them after a couple of weeks. So then I'm going fairly generous with these because scab really likes an alkaline soil. But if the soil is nice and acid, then the scab doesn't form. I've done all the rest of the rows here, as you can see. So we're pretty much all set to go. I'm worried about it's starting to rain. It's a really gross day. next job today is to start planting potatoes. I've got everything I need. We had a good amount of rain yesterday and the night before. So we've got like a perfect soil, perfect. So I'm just gonna pop on some gloves, and I use a bulb planter to get them really deep. Now it might be a little hard right here because of compaction, but I'm going to move up and I'm going to put the first one in here. So I just give it a really good push down. It'll get easier as I get away from the edges. I try to get it down to at least the top of the thing, and then you just lift that up. Take it out carefully. Drop it in. Okay. And you throw a potato in, right? And then you turn this upside down, and you just bang the soil on top of it, like that. Okay? Just be fine. But anyway, that's how I do it. So you need a 10-inch measure, 10 inches between potato, a good sturdy bulb planter. Don't forget to turn it upside down to get the soil out, and lots of seed potato. Okay? And that's it. It'll take me a while, but we're going to work on it for the rest of the week. All right, see ya. Okay, we got 2, 1, 2, and half a row done. We're back. We're doing row cover on the potatoes today, and just going to show one more instance of how to do it. And this time we're going to use as much as we can of the old row cover from last year. I try to make it last a few years because it's very expensive. And I label them so that they have tags on them. Fold them up, tie them up, and put labels on them. And the size, the width, and if they're in good quality or not. Plus I have some new stuff to get going. So we'll lay the first piece, and I'll show you how that works. So these rows are 45 feet. They're 45 feet long, and we're going to put on 60 feet long by 14 feet wide, and we're going to cover 2 rows, and that's good for the whole season. So I only have to lift the row cover to harvest. So, and the reason we put row cover on is because of potato beetle. The Colorado potato beetle is really bad here, and that prevents them from landing on them, laying eggs, and then doing damage. You do have to periodically check. Sometimes a bird will land on your row cover, and this is particularly lightweight stuff. And so if a bird lands on your row cover, it might put a hole in it, but you can repair it really easy with tuck tape. Works beautifully, and it actually outlasts the row cover in most cases. It's still sticking, and it's despite rain. So if you put it on dry, it really is a good sticky tape. So we're going to get started on the first one. We've laid out sandbags and rocks so that on each 2 rows of potatoes, you'll have a lot of rocks.
So the final row, we're kicking it up. We've run out of old pieces, but it's done. We've got 4 old pieces on, and we're dipping into the last of this row. Christine took her shoes off so she doesn't put holes in it, which is really nice. She's going to go a few feet extra, and as close as she can get to that gooseberry, which is pretty prickly. You got a couple feet past? Okay. And she's going to cut it with the good fabric scissors. And we'll get that on. We're all ready. Then we just have one little piece at the top going east to west, and we'll be done this big job.